checkups.
Dr. Alan Pressman.
How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing terrific.
Yeah, what do you think about this sleep stuff we were just talking about? Pretty interesting, huh?
Well, I think it's not only interesting. I know we talk about the word important all the time. I can't really think of anything else more important. If you don't get a good night's sleep, you can't function in this world.
Yeah, physically and mentally, as we just found out. Yeah,
you got to get that sleep down.
Yeah, and look, a tremendous percentage of patients we see, and Danny and I work together at Gramercy Health, and I'll tell you what Danny does in a minute, but a tremendous percentage of people that we see have issues with sleep. But it's interesting, Danny, in my experience, when you're taking a case history of a patient, then you hear about the sleep. Rarely is that the prime reason that brings them in to see us.
That's a very, very important thing you say. I mean, I can't really say it better. I read so many intake forms, and I'm happy on my intake form I happen to ask that question.
Right.
Because that needs to be discussed.
Yeah, because when people come in, they're coming in for all sorts of different reasons. Occasionally we see a person that just says, well, I can't sleep. But most of the time, unless you ask about it, people just take it for granted. Hey, I don't sleep. I never slept. What's the big deal? But as you hear, it is, it is quite a big deal. Danny, what I want to do is find out from you right now the research article of the week. We don't have a drum roll. We'll have to do without it. Kamani, you're going to have to get a drum roll in there. Go ahead. Done. Okay, well, done.
What I have here is I have a triage.
Oh, wow.
We're going to go around the world, as Len Berman, the sportscaster, says. So we have headline number 1. Obesity causes 100,000 U.S. cancer cases. Then we go to Europe. Fat caused 124,000 cancer cases out of Cardiff University, Great Britain. And then we end up in the Pacific region, Asia. Obesity ups cancer death risk out of the very prestigious Lancet.
So no matter where we look, obesity, whether it's United States, Europe, or Asia, obesity is related to cancer cases.
Yeah. And what's interesting is I think we know this is a tremendous U.S. influence around the world. This was not always the case.
Right. Well,
so in the first article,
yeah,
the American article, obesity causes more than 100,000 cases of cancer in the U.S. each year, and the number will likely rise as Americans get fatter. Having too much body fat causes nearly half the cases of endometrial cancer, a type of cancer of the uterus, and a third of esophageal cancer cases, the American Institute for Cancer Research reported. More than 26% of Americans are obese. Additionally, nearly a third of Americans are overweight. Here are some of its estimates of cancer types that could be prevented annually if Americans stayed slender. We have esophageal cancer. We have pancreatic cancer, gallbladder cancer, colon cancer, breast cancer, endometrium cancer, and kidney cancer. And then we go on to Europe, and this is what it says. More than 124,000 people in Europe developed cancer last year because they're overweight, and rising body fat levels threaten to add tens of thousands more to their ranks. This study of cancer among overweight people in Europe showed the proportion of new cases of the disease caused by people being fat was highest in women. The most common cancers linked to excess body weight were endometrial, breast, and colorectal cancers. It's possible that obesity may become the biggest attributable cause of cancer in women within the next decade.
Wow.
70,000 new cases of cancer in 30 European countries were caused by people being overweight or obese. And the researchers found that the number of cancers that could be attributed to excess body weight increased to 124,050 people in 2008. In men, 3.2% of new cancers were attributed to being overweight or obese, and in women it was 8.6%. You know, I would just want to say one other thing about this article in Europe. When I look at the countries in here, Alan, they all seem to be in, northern Europe. I don't see the Mediterranean area here, which is very interesting.
You're not going to see the Mediterranean area in this study on cancer because the rate of cancer is extremely low.
Yeah. And then finally we go to our friends in the Pacific region in Asia. overweight and obese people in the Asia-Pacific region have a significantly increased risk of dying from cancer compared to those of normal weight. We have here 424,500 adults in Asia, Australia, New Zealand. Overall, those who are overweight or obese were 6% and 21% respectively more likely to die from cancer. The study also found that obese people were significantly more likely than normal weight people to die from colon, rectal, ovarian, cervical, and prostate cancers, and from leukemia. Obese women over 60 were significantly more likely to die from breast cancer than women of normal weight.
Fascinating. 3 stories, 3 studies. Stay where you are. I want to